Welcome to Grand Auto Food Store, your premier destination for a delightful selection of rice in the Gambia. We proudly offer Sadam, Barabara, Fash, Jasmine, and Basmati, all sourced from a local Gambian brands. You can visit us in number 13 Hagan Street in Banjul, but also Kairaba Avenue opposite the Pipeline Mosque, where our friendly team is ready to assist both wholesale and retail customers. In addition to rice, we feature Dondo Jasmine 5% broken, Rainbow Basmati 5% broken, Golden Grain Rice or commonly called Sadam 100% broken, Sky Rice or called Fast 100% broken. But also we have Delight, commonly called in the Gambia as Barabara 100% Sotex, meaning it has no broken context in it at all. Whether you are stocking up for your kicking or you need light quantities for your businesses, we have you covered. Experience the joy of shopping with a local Gambian business today, or call us at 2142-049, 2142-049, or better still 755-1911, 755-1911.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. The Assistant Inspector General of Police, responsible for crime management, Alaji Demaso, the General in charge of police operations countrywide, Mr. Pate Jallo, the Commissioner responsible for legal, Gambia Police Force, Abdullah Sane, Commissioner responsible for forensics, Pakeba Dabo, Deputy Commissioner of Police, Anti-Crime Unit, so Deputy Commissioner of Police, under the Crime Management Pillar, Mr. Boto Keta, my personal assistant, DCP Boya, DCP Ba, in charge of Human Resources, officers and men of this fine institution, Gambia Police Force, members of the Fourth Estate, that's the press. I say a very good morning to all of you. We are gathered here today. It's not a gathering that we are pleased with on the other side, but the other way around, it's a gathering that is equally very important in the sense that recent happenings in the country leaves much to be desired. The general public were threatened. Life and properties were equally threatened. Robbery cases in the increase. The spike was attributed to a lot of factors, and some of these factors included, but not limited to, the inability of Gambia Police Force, the ineptitude, as some will put it, of Gambia Police Force to be able to effectively and adequately police this nation. We take responsibility. We don't shy away from our statutory responsibility, but we equally know all efforts are put in place to ensure crime is minimized, and the support that we are getting also from the executive, more especially in their own small way, is appreciated. I will take you through by sequence incidents of armed robbery that has been happening in this country, not only recently, but dated way back 2014, when some robbery cases were reported by the police, by the civilian, of course, to the police or the affected institutions. But today we are able to link some of these suspects to those robberies that occurred well before the advent of the new dispensation. And to start with, in 2014, Guarantee Trust Bank at Bakau was robbed, and the principal suspect in that robbery case is called One Ansumana, otherwise known as Ansu Jaju, resident of New Joshua in Serekunda. He was arrested, sent to the remand wing, and when he started appearing before the courts, he jumped bail and then disappeared in the thin air and nowhere to be seen. Again, on the 4th of September 2022, a case of robbery was reported which happened around Senegambia area. The owner of the business, the proprietor, gave some money, a lot of money, to this same suspect, Ansumana Jaju, otherwise known as Ansu, to go and pay some of his workers. He left with this money, abandoned the car, where some items were recovered, including his own national identity card. This time around also, he was able to evade arrest and also move to a nearby country where intermittently he will appear briefly in the Gambia, conduct his operations with his accomplices, and then go back to that same location or destination. Most of the time, Ansu built up friendship with one Loseni Jabate, Ivorian national. They were all remanded at Mile 2 Central Prisons, and this was where they built up relationship. And subsequent to their disappearance, their escape, they teamed up together and they started conducting their operations. On the 29th June 2021, this same Ansu, whose boss was called Momar Tal, operating as Eman Trading, he robbed this business premises and equally got successful and vanished again into thin air. On the 1st of January, New Year's Day, store breaking and stealing. This was reported by one Ahmed Said Mohammed, a 32-year Mauritanian national, a businessman residing in Old Joshua, operating as Gum Food Complex at Denton Bridge, where he kept his goods and money. The same people went there, tied up the watchman, the night watchman, forcefully opened the back door, and then opened the safe where monies were kept. The undermentioned suspects shared the money, which totals to $400,000. Ansu Mana, Ansu Jaju, Leseni Jabate, and Abdoulaye Jallo. The booty was $400,000. Each got $100,000 as their share, and the balance of $100,000 was kept and later utilized to procure arms and ammunition from a sister republic, which they later started using as means of their weapon to conduct these nefarious activities. Wednesday, 22nd January 2025. I'm sure by now everybody here in this hall will agree with me that we have all seen the CCTV footages of the alleged robbery which was conducted at Access Bank in Bijilo. 3 of them, driven by a taxi driver, went to the bank, as I mentioned during my appearance at GRTS on that fateful day, conducted their operations using these same weapons that they were able to procure. The suspects are no other person but the same Ansumana Ansujaju, Loseni Jabate, Abdoulaye Jallo, and one Omar Seka. This time also, they jointly shared the money, and each of them was able to get $400,000. After that robbery, considering themselves as successful, now they become emboldened, and in a rare and brazen attack, they strategized and also went to attack a Mauritanian shop operated by Al Hela Enterprise, located along Hagan Street in Banjul. But prior to this operation, they jointly contributed money and bought a BMW ash column, which they used in that operation. Here, I want to state that by the time of their operations, the vehicle was unnumbered. But when we check in the system with the company that are responsible for printing number plates, we realize that actually the vehicle was numbered, it was registered, and the number plate was legally given to them. But as we all know how criminals and criminal elements operate, they remove this, conduct their operations, and instantly fixed the number plate again. The cost of that BMW was $150,000. At the Al Hela shop, $1,245,000 was taken, and then CFA denominations $1,650,000. That was the money they got from the operations at Al Hela. Again, the suspects, Loseni Jabate, Abdoulaye Jallo. Jabate's share was $377,250,000 with $465,000 CFA. Mr. Jallo Abdoulaye got $222,000, $770,000 CFA. That operation, initially, they tried to trick investigators by saying, actually, there were 3 in number. On the whole, it was only the 2 of them. But as investigations expanded, we were able to confirm with certainty, and which was also confessed by themselves, that actually it was the 2 of them only. Now, coming back to Mr. Jaju Ansu, after the operations at Access Bank, he fled to Guinea-Bissau. Investigators from the Crime Management Pillar, jointly with our colleagues, elements of the anti-crime unit, were able to re-strategize, see the best possible way to be able to track these people. By way of investigations, I cannot delve deep into matters or areas or intelligence that were done for us to be able to track him all the way to Bissau. In security, there is what we call NTK, otherwise known as Need to Know. With due respect to my media colleagues, I don't want to go too much into that, and I believe I will get your understanding on this. Now, moving forward. When our colleagues will get to Guinea-Bissau, we link them with the authorities there. And somebody who is very close to him was apprehended, who was shown these CCTV footages, where instantly he confirmed to them, yes, this is the man, I know him, he is called Mr. Ansumana Jaju. Investigations did not relent. With the support and collaboration of our Bissau colleagues, the next day we were able to locate him, and he was subsequently arrested. When he was arrested initially, as hardened criminals we all know them to be, he tried to be stubborn, he tried to be recalcitrant, he never wanted to own up to his crime. But then when questioning were intense, we started cracking holes, gaps started emerging, and then he subsequently agreed and confessed to the crimes that was committed. And personally here, I want to thank His Excellency, the Ambassador of Guinea-Bissau to the Gambia, Mr. Luis. I want to thank my Bissau counterpart, the Inspector General of Police. And I equally want to thank Dr. Domingos, who is in charge of the Judiciary Police, where Interpol falls under. They did a phenomenal job for us by cooperating with us, and eventually Ansu was extradited, escorted by the 4 officers from anti-crime to the Gambia. Now, as fate will have it, on the same day, when Ansu was being transported from Bissau, there was a sting operation that we conducted in Banjul the very day the El Hela incident happened. Gambia police officers were able, with reinforcement from our various units and with intelligence-led gathering or intelligence-led policing, we were able to flag and see a BMW who looks very similar to the one that was used during the operations, but this time around with a number plate. Now, surveillance was mounted. Then there was ambush at various locations in and outside Banjul, which led to the arrest of a driver, a mechanic, and later Mr. Luseni Jabate. The following day was when we were successful in getting Mr. Abdoulaye Jallo, and when all of them were shown the CCTV footages at Access Bank, they immediately accepted that that same robbery was equally conducted by them. In fact, Ansu was the one with a white shirt. All right, before I forgot, the shirts, the dress they wore during the Access Bank operation, we were able to retrieve those same dresses at his residence in Guinea-Bissau, which is also with us here, and certainly prosecutors will use it as an evidence. For Mr. Jabate Luseni, he categorically told us that he was the one who wore the white kaftan during that operation. Abdoulaye was the one wearing the jogging when they were operationalizing that act at Access Bank. Investigators did not relent. They want to dig in further to ensure all the perpetrators of this heinous act are brought to book. When they mention and confess to the participation of a taxi driver we were on his trail. By dint of luck and hard work, he was equally arrested yesterday and is safe in our custody. String of successes. There was a robbery case that was also reported at Farato. I'm sad to say this because the person's name is Hussein Ture and you all know I'm Ture. This is the guy who operated that shop and carted away a lot of expensive goods. When we get wind of his appearance elsewhere around this neighborhood, officers were on his trail, and eventually he was also arrested. And when the CCTV footages were shown to him, he admitted guilt and accepted that he solely and entirely operated that operation alone. Mr. Ture is equally with us here, and I think moving from here, this is where my updates will stop. But let me make one emphasis. We have been saying this time without number, but then it's like adherence to this, I will not call it an appeal, but directives which is supported by our existing laws, but people are not abiding by it. Perhaps I will accept the enforcement aspect of it from us, the Gambia Police Force. It's a little bit lacking. But from here today, Wednesday, the 12th of January, any driver, any commuter who wants to enjoy the comfort of your vehicle without discomforting innocent children that are supposed to be transported to and from school, please make sure you have your number plates fixed on your cars or your vehicles. Failure to do this, the car will be impounded and there will be heavy fine on the spot before you can get back your vehicle. This is now not a warning, it's now not an appeal, rather, but it's a warning. And our expectations as policing elements of this country is to be supported by all and sundry. More especially, members of the security fraternity. Because usually, we are the very ones on this particular matter that I'm talking here, we are the very ones who abuse this. You have your number fixed in front of the car, but at the rear, you deliberately remove it with a simple pretext or excuse to say it's damaged or broken. This will not be accepted any longer, and stern instructions have been given to officers of the Mobile Traffic Unit to ensure these directives from the Inspector General of Police is implemented to the letter. There is no good thing that somebody does, or there is no person who will be walking and not be committing mistakes, even though we agree mistakes are inevitable, but nobody wants to be committing mistakes in the due execution of your duties. I am saying this simply because it's not an offense, and we are not picking any offense in it. But since the spike of these robbery cases, Gambia Police Force has been maligned, we have been ridiculed, we have been sent to tatters, and all sorts of things were said on us. We accept this in good faith, and we are not apportioning blame on anybody, because that's what we signed for. If we know we are unable to protect the life and properties of this nation, let me be on record, I, Sidi Mukhtar Ture, will be the first person to tender my resignation to the executive to say I have failed in my duties and I am relieving myself of my responsibility. If you know, we don't pray for this. But then also, if certain issues or incidents happen, I think police needs to be given time. We need to be supported in terms of information gathering. We need to be supported in terms of logistics, which is coming, though not adequate, we must accept. And I think, we should all see the best possible way. The first robbery case that I mentioned here actually happened which year? 2014, right? 2014. That was way before 2016, 2017. And some of us who are the elderly ones now, advanced age, I will say, we have seen during the previous dispensation, the previous regime, the Central Bank of the Gambia, perhaps you the younger ones may not be able to remember this, but the Central Bank was also attacked by armed men. And this was during the time of former President Yahya Jammeh. Now let's check and consider the proximity of Central Bank and the State House of the Gambia. If you start walking, you will not walk 5 minutes, you are at the State House. And now we are forgetting all that. Every blame, every ridicule, every malignment, every antagonization is on us. But once again, we want to thank you for your support. And we encourage the general public to be sharing information with us. There is one particular case that I forgot to mention. If you can recall, on this fateful day of 22nd January, immediately after the Access Bank incident, it was reported that there was also an armed robbery at Kunkuyan Ketaya. Can you remember this? Very well. And an amount of 77,000 plus was what they took away from the guy operating the financial institution. That's the Western Union, or any name you may wish to call it. What our investigation revealed, with evidences, concrete evidences for that matter, he claimed that it was 3 men, the same description with Ansu, Loseni, and Mr. Jal, that it was with the same vehicle that attacked him at his motor shop. We were able to confirm this with certainty, that this was staged. It's a matter of seeing the Access Bank robbery in the internet. Somebody also decided to take chance, capitalize on it, and stage this by himself. Today, he is even appealing to the police that he wants to pay this money so that no further action will be taken. Well, what I can say, I'm very sorry for him. We would not do this, because that even aggravated the same problem that we were faced with after the Access Bank incident. Once again, we appreciate your appearance, calling you on a very short notice. I believe majority of the media houses are here present. When you go back to your principals, extend our gratitude to them for responding to our call within this short period of time. I appreciate your kind attention. Long live the Gambia. Thank you very much.
Very much, Piaro, and good afternoon to the IGP and members of the press here present. I think it's difficult to say anything after the excellent presentation by the Inspector General of Police. However, I just want to make a clarification on the recoveries that were made in regards to the El Hela robbery. The money you're seeing before you was money that was recovered. The figure that was stated by the complainants remains to be the same, that is $1,250,000 is $1,650,000 CFA. However, the suspects declined to state how much each had from this money. So what is presented before you is recoveries that were made from them, not actually their shares, because they decline to state how much each of the two had from these amounts that were stolen from the recovery. Also, as you see before you, the implements that you are seeing before you are linked to the respective breakings and robberies that happen as alluded by the IGP. That is at Denton Bridge, Carmelo, and Banjul itself, and that is the pistols that you are seeing. Those were pistols that were used during the robbery that happened at El Hela. It is also important to note that early 2024, there was a robbery at a bank in Banjul called Vista Bank. And in that robbery, trails were made. One of the suspects, of course, fled to Senegal. And one of them is Ousseynou Touré. That is the one that was apprehended this morning. Ousseynou Touré was part of that robbery, and a file was built, and as we speak, he is going to court. In fact, he also jumped bail, so he was in hiding. God was on our side. On the 22nd of January, he was also involved in a breaking case at Farato. And this breaking case is what led to his arrest last night. So he is into breaking and robbery. So the people that we have, the four, are for now our main suspects in most of the robberies and breakings. And I want to believe this should be able to allay the fears of Gambians and non-Gambians, particularly investors, that yes, individual can go ahead in their criminal acts, but the police can assure you that there is no hiding place, being it in the Gambia or outside the Gambia. That's my clarification. Thank you.
As the principles of investigation goes by, we are facilitators of investigators in various investigations, and usually we deal with materials that are of forensic interest. Actually, summarily, this investigation was wide, but in sequence, it starts from there. However, from here, these were the dresses people who stored in the various CCTVs, the military jacket, sort of the camouflage, the cap, and these were dresses that were worn by them, and they were recovered during their arrest. You can remember in the CCTV, you would have seen the military jacket on somebody at Access Bank and also the so these dresses were recovered from them when they were arrested. That's why they are here. The second, so for the monies, when Ousseynou was arrested, directly himself or where he entrusted some of the money, 198,000 was recovered from him in Dallas. However, some portion of the same amount from him, 710,000 was recovered from him. These are proceeds from LN. And again, from Apply, from Ousseynou, 377,250 was recovered from Ousseynou, and Apply 222,000, and a total of 599,000 was from the proceeds of LN. So, next is the Access Act. All of them did mention the amounts that were recovered, that were their shares. However, from the driver that was recently arrested, he was given 290,000, and exactly the same amount was recovered from the taxi driver, $290,000. This would not be equipment that were recovered from the same amount of the knives, and this is why they are for the guns. From the guns, these are two guns that they use at both the Elhela and the Access Bank. And according to them, as a result of the breaking that they did in non-food store, that's the proceed they bought the guns for. And from which on, they started using them and in the major two places, and that is the Kamalo and Access Bank. From the onset, according to them, they had no weapons, and these were cutlasses that they used at the Kamalo break. From the Kamalo break, the proceed they bought the guns. From the proceed of the guns, they did the Access Bank. And from Access Bank proceed, they bought the BMW. And the same BMW is what they use at the El Helaso. And from sequence, you can see, this was the first breaking they've committed. This was identity. They were able to break the safe, but could not access the money. So they had no money there. And their next target was the ground food, from ground food to Access Bank, and from Access Bank to Health. The subsequent cases my boss was mentioning about Vista. One of the Senegalese national called Marsinia was the principal. His accomplice was Hussein. Hussein was arrested and prepared before the court. He absconded bail and was spotted in the CCTV at Farabi breaking, where he was successfully arrested by the crime management team. So currently he is also part of the suspects that are here. We hope that with the arrest of these major people, may be minimized, if not eradicated. Thank you.
I would want to now throw the baton to our colleagues, the media, whose day is today. So we will start. Please, anyone who wants to ask a question, you would come forward here. Let's have an opening there so that everybody can hear the question. You can ask the question.
Welcome to Grand Auto Food Store, your premier destination for a delightful selection of rice in the Gambia. We proudly offer Sadam, Barabara, Fash, Jasmine, and Basmatic, all sourced from a local Gambian brands. You can visit us in number 13 Hagan Street in Banjul, but also Kairaba Avenue opposite the Pipeline Mosque, where our friendly team is ready to assist both wholesale and retail customers. In addition to rice, we feature Dondo Jasmine 5% broken, Rainbow Basmatic 5% broken, Golden Grain Rice or commonly called Sadam 100% broken, Sky Rice or called Fash 100% broken. But also, we have Delight, commonly called in the Gambia as Barabara 100% Sotex, meaning it has no broken context in it at all. Whether you are stocking up for your cooking or you need light quantities for your businesses, we have you covered. Experience the joy of shopping with a local Gambian business today, or call us at 2142049, 2142049, or better still 7551911, 7551911.